Good evening. Happy Wednesday, my winners and goal getters. Welcome to another edition of the Getting the Win Show. I'm your host, Melissa T, the Procrastination Bully. In today's episode, I want to talk about the one thing that you may not be accounting for if you're feeling stuck right now. You may have reached a certain point in your life in terms of your relationships, in terms of your goal, in terms of this book that you're working on. Because the purpose of this show is to help women who've navigated a trauma or transition find healing through writing and publishing their books and turning their trauma or transition into a tool of transformation, which is that book. But I'm going to go over for you the one element that you may be missing to go to that next level. So let me share a quick story with you. I met Jessica Holly back in 2023. All right. I'm somebody that very easily breaks things down. I teach things in a way that people understand. Folks have said that I provide them safety and that I'm a very good listener. Jessica Holly is somebody that is full of energy, full of ideas, full of excitement, forward momentum. Like she is a dynamo. She is that person. At that time when we met, I didn't have much of a business yet. I was piecing it together. And I knew that I did have a passion for books. I knew that I wanted to get back into the publishing industry because that's where God was moving me. But I didn't quite have the vehicle to do that. I didn't quite have the means to get there. She and I met in the UOU Mastermind in June of 2023. By December of 2023, a big brother of ours, shout out to Carl Wesley Phillips, he had done his first live event, Moving Past Potential. That book right there. He wrote his book. That one that you're seeing is a journal that we got at the workshop. But his first live event was the Moving Past Potential workshop. It happened in Orlando. And we were all sharing in the room what our strengths are, what our names mean, and what our passions are. Jessica heard what mine was. My name means honeybee. I help people blossom. That is my whole job on this planet. And I talked about my love for books and storytelling and helping others get published. And out the blue, she just was like, "So when's your first writing retreat?" I did not see that coming. Okay. That was never on my radar. But because she is a visionary and because she is a person that is full of ideas, she was able to hear what I do and what I wanted to do and attach a vision that I could actually get behind. And the two of us collaborated together from that day forward to create the Spring Forward Writers Retreat, which took place in 2025. That was 2023 when she put me on the spot and was like, "Yeah, so about that. Like, when we gonna do that?" We worked together for over a year. And in 2025, we launched the Spring Forward Writers Retreat. In 2026, we held the retreat again and simply rebranded it to the Author Activation Weekend. And I promise you, between 2025 and 2026 was a massive improvement. We doubled the size of the venue, doubled the attendees, and doubled our results between 2025 and 2026. And the beauty is the rebrand is now universal. We can hold that author intensive whenever we want to. It can be in the spring, it can be in the fall. We can do one a year, we can do two a year, we can do as many as we like. But it all started from me being someone who's able to break things down in a way that folks can understand, in my context, authors. And for her, someone who's a visionary, full of ideas, and found a way to make what I do more viable for others, something that can be applied at scale. Here's the lesson I'm demonstrating with this story. With my skill set, I'm a simplifier. Jessica is a multiplier. Because the two of us put our minds together, we were able to create an event that created impact for people. Spring Forward Writers Retreat was extremely intimate. It was only 4 of us. Author Activation Weekend, closer to 7, both in person and virtual. Spring Forward Writers Retreat, I want to say it was a 4 or 5 bedroom home in Orlando with a pool, very nice. It was in a subdivision, gated community, had its own vibe, palm trees and everything. That was the Taste of Jamaica theme. Author Activation Weekend, out in the mountains, the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. No subdivision, no HOA, plenty of space. We stayed at a sprawling estate. It was a mansion with its own pool, with a game room. Everybody had their own space. Everybody had their own space in Orlando too. But in the Smoky Mountains, everybody had their own space. We had a fire pit. We had a grill. It was wonderful. Grill in Orlando too, but that Tennessee environment, very spaced out. And we had a more rigorous schedule in Tennessee than we did in Orlando. We were able to bring on even more dynamic speakers than we had in Orlando. We were able to expand our itinerary. And the fellowship was amazing because a simplifier teamed up with a multiplier to create lasting results. Okay? The concept I'm talking about today is just that thing that you might be missing in your life if you've hit a ceiling. If you find yourself a simplifier, you're someone who breaks things down. You make things easier for people. If you've hit a ceiling or a wall, it might be because you're missing a multiplier. The two have to be together in order for your success to reach the next level. Okay? I'm a simplifier. I need a multiplier. Jessica Holly is a multiplier. She relies heavily on me as a simplifier to help organize her thoughts and her ideas and kind of help her pick which ones to focus on in the moment so that she doesn't overbook herself or become overwhelmed. Simplifiers and multipliers need each other. We sharpen one another. We give each other momentum to move to the next level. Another example of something like this is ETA, Eric Thomas and Associates, my coach, right? Shout out to ETA. And I shared this with the UOU Mastermind. Shout out to the African Wild Dogs, the pack. Well, one of the things I shared with them on my final meeting with them, it was my last meeting 2 days ago as of this recording, but I shared with them this very concept of the simplifier versus the multiplier, which I learned from Dr. Myron Golden. Here's the example with ETA. You'll hear the story of E.T. and C.J. and Carl working together for many years, and they hit a ceiling. They did well for a while, for a good while. Like, C.J. did his job. He made E.T. a household name. Dr. Eric Thomas is a household name. E.T. the hip-hop preacher, everybody knows him, right? To the point where E.T. is one of the few speakers that can go speak in corporate with his ball cap and his J's and his shorts. And none of the corporate people are going to give him any problems. That was a non-negotiable for him. And he could make it a non-negotiable because of the hard branding work that CJ had put in to make his brand ironclad. So great. ET's a multiplier. CJ's a multiplier. Carl is the hands and feet of the operation. He can be seen as a simplifier because he narrows what's going on between what ET and CJ want on video, and he accomplishes what needs to be expressed on video. But they hit a ceiling. What took them to the next level was in about 2023 or 2024, when Moose, someone who's in the ETA ecosystem already, decided to step up and become the CEO of ETA. ET decided to step out of the CEO role. He acknowledged it himself. Like he's great as a shepherd, but operationally speaking, he knew the ETA ecosystem was going to need more precision than what he could provide. He knew he had to do some work on himself to become more laser focused, more organized. Moose was already that kind of person. Once Moose moved into the CEO position, ETA started running like a well-oiled machine. Things became more organized, deadlines were honored, operations were simplified, because now it wasn't just, oh, hey, I got this idea, let's go do it, which was previously the case with ET and CJ. They were like, hey, this idea is fire, let's go do it, even though they had previously committed to something else. Moose was the one that stepped in, saw all of the ideas, and was like, great, we're going to focus on this one for right now, and then this one for later in the year, and then this one for next year. He organized all of the ideas and gave them clear timelines and held strict boundaries. For as much of a multiplier as CJ is, and as pushy as he can be as a pilot, Moose went 10 toes down and said, no, this is the deadline that we agreed to as a team. We are sticking to it. That simplified the process and took ETA to a whole new level. They reformatted several of their programs, including the mastermind. I got to watch the evolution of it. In 2023, our UOU mastermind was 6 days a week. We had Zoom calls all the time. And then we had calls on Mondays. It was a lot. It was a lot. It narrowed down to every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We still had our Monday calls. And then based on what the group wanted in terms of more branding coaching, they incorporated one Wednesday call a month. Far fewer calls, which made the workload easier on everybody on the team and easier for those of us who are participants, and we still got the same amount of value. The same amount of value. The multipliers had to team up with the simplifiers in order to make the process better. You see that example? And then in the ETA ecosystem, especially with the mastermind, we have one main coach who's the MC, if you will. And he has been the MC for 3 straight years. If you've been rocking with the show, you've met him several times on this show, L. David Harris. Why was he always the one that was the MC? Because ET is a multiplier. LDH is a simplifier. It's real easy for LDH to organize and lead the UOU mastermind. He's a simplifier. Multipliers and simplifiers must work together. The two have to be present for the thing to be successful. I have the privilege of being able to rock with my parents, both in business and in life. My dad is a simplifier. My mom is a multiplier. That is why they work. They were best friends before they ever got married, and they are still married for that reason. One is a multiplier, one is a simplifier. Mom will have a ton of ideas, and she'll be ready to run on them. High speed. Dad is the simplifier. Hold up. I hear you on this idea. I hear you on this one. We're in the process of working on this one right now. Hold off on the rest of them. Multiplier, simplifier. The two are necessary to make a thing successful. In my business, my mom comes in and consults as a multiplier. She'll share her feedback on what the vision could look like for what Thomas Creative Solutions can be. My dad, being the simplifier, will then ask questions to poke holes, both with me and with my mom, to say, okay, this sounds cool. Let's unpack this thing over here a little bit more. The two are necessary. Here's a biblical example if you're somebody who's a person of faith. And I shared this with the mastermind group too, and they loved it, which is God placed man in the Garden of Eden because he wanted man to take order and dominion over the chaos of the garden. The garden was not perfect. It was a mess. God put Adam there so he could master it. Adam was the simplifier. God watched Adam do his work. God had already created all the other creatures. Most other creatures have pairs. There's usually a male and female. Some species reproduce asexually, but for the most part, they're male and female. Like there's some reproduction that happens. God saw Adam doing what he was doing, Adam being the simplifier, and said, it's not good for man to be alone. He put Adam to sleep, pulled out a rib, and gave him a multiplier. We as women multiply. We augment. We were wired to augment what men do. Men are meant to be visionaries. They are the hunters, they are the pursuers. We as women were created as the helpmeet. We are not under them, we are not above them. We meet them where they are and multiply what they're doing. Simplifier, multiplier. The two complement each other to create greater success. Once Adam and Eve came together, God said, be fruitful and multiply, subdue the earth and have dominion over it. Simplifier, multiplier. You might be missing a multiplier if you're a simplifier. If you're a multiplier, you're missing a simplifier likely, because you likely have a bunch of ideas, and you've likely been executing on all your ideas, but things aren't quite showing up as fruitfully as you would like. The news media job that I was a part of, I was the simplifier, the boss was a multiplier, and the simplifier over here had reached her limits. I hit a wall too. And there was a lot of multipliers among that team. Folks that were full of ideas, very driven people, move very fast, visionary. We needed a few more simplifiers in order for that company to be more successful. Thankfully, some simplifiers have joined the team. That team has gone on to be more successful. That company has gone on to be more successful. And shout out to them. It's awesome. So that might be the missing piece. If you're a person of faith and you're missing the other, whatever your complement is, ask God to bring that person into your life or those persons. You might need more than one. Be specific. God is not scared of your requests. His answer is either no, yes, or wait, right? So ask him. In my case, I'm praying for more focused multipliers. And when I say more focused, I mean specific multipliers, because I need multiplication in one specific realm of my business, which is my offers. And I am now in Myron Golden's ecosystem to resolve that. And Myron Golden is interesting because he's a combination of both. He is both simplifier and multiplier. He is an incredible teacher. He's able to break down concepts in a way that is easy to understand and in ways that are novel, ways that we've never heard, ways that are unique and different. And he's a multiplier because he's a master at sales. So it's both. And there are people like that in the world who are a combination of both simplifier and multiplier. By all means, pray for that. Ask God to bring that to you. Ask the Creator to bring that to you. Okay? It'll make a difference. It'll make a world of difference for you. So this is the concept, y'all. This is the message. This is the video. We don't have to wax too deep on it. Apply this to the rest of your life. Identify which one you are so that you can know which one you need to look for. Go forward and seek them. Your multipliers are the ones that are the fast movers, the visionaries. They're full of ideas. They're full of energy. They favor momentum. Success loves speed. So you want a multiplier. And that's what you got to look for in a multiplier. A simplifier is someone who moves more methodically. Their pace is more methodical. They're more deliberate. They're more intentional. They're very detail oriented, and they can explain things in a way that's easier to understand. They're more patient. So if the simplifier is what you're looking for, by all means, those are the qualities you want to find in those types of people. By all means, you can find them in your online communities. You can find them in person. But those are the qualities to look for in each of them. So if you're a person of faith, pray. Pray that those people will come into your life. Pray that you will meet those people. And believe that you will connect with them, because it starts with belief first, right? We have to already be there before the thing shows up. So we start there. But that can be the difference. That one missing person or a couple of them can be the key to you going to the next level. I know it's the key to going to mine. Like being in the UOU mastermind for 3 years was that was a multiplier for me. Between being around ET, people like CJ, people like Nikki Saunders, like these are people that are multipliers. That was a huge help for me. Being around fellow simplifiers like LDH and Carl Wesley Phillips gave me new and different language. People like Mustafa Ghonim, learning the extreme execution flight assessment, gave me new and different language so that I can then simplify things for people more effectively. So it's not like you don't want more of what you are, but if you don't have enough of the complement, go seek out the complement. Okay. So that's the difference. Simplifier, multiplier. Combine the two and go to the next level. And I'll put the link in the description for Dr. Myron Golden's video, because obviously he breaks it down way better than I do. But I wanted to introduce this concept to you, my audience who watches and hears me, so that you can take off running and go get this success too. Because as a honeybee and the procrastination bully and your hashtag author bestie, all the names, my entire goal is for you to succeed. No ulterior motives. I just want to see you win. Whether your luxury item is a book or something else. Today's video helps you in either arena. So take this one and go forward. If this was beneficial for you, be sure to comment, put your aha moments in the chat. Let me know which one you are. Are you a simplifier or a multiplier? Put that in the comments. Let me know. Share this video with anybody you think would find it beneficial. And by all means, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe here on YouTube. It's still at Getting the Win for right now as of this episode. This is the end of season 7. So next Wednesday, you will see the official rename of the show. The show will become The Activated Author. That will be the name of it, The Activated Author Podcast. So thank you for rocking with me thus far for the Getting the Win show, as it has been named thus far. But you'll see the full rebrand. I've been teasing it in the thumbnails, the open book with the flame coming out of it. So that will be the brand new rebrand starting next Wednesday. But in the meantime, in between time, thank you so much for tuning in. And by all means, tune in tomorrow night for my Activated Author Live. That is the live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow night. All right. Tomorrow, as always, I do, Q&As, I do industry updates. So I'll be getting into that kind of stuff. Bring any questions you have if you're an author, an aspiring author. Bring any questions you have, and I'm ready and happy to answer them tomorrow. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. In the meantime, between time, have a great rest of your Wednesday and greater productive rest of your week. Peace.